Hello, everyone. It is Monday, let me check, the 18th, Monday, the 18th of January, and you have clicked, hopefully, on the literacy icon. Well, obviously you have, otherwise you won't be seeing this video, but hopefully the timetable and the icons haven't confused you. We switched so that everyone in the school has the same on each page. Um, Keep an eye on that timetable that's on the top of our Year 2 page as it shows you which lessons we'll be uploading each day. And please remember to complete the register at the top of the page. We're going to be taking that register now each day and checking who has signed on. You need to complete it before 12 p.m. if possible. Right, in literacy this week, we are going to be looking at poetry. But alongside that, in the video below this one is Jane Considine's live lessons. So she's been doing live lessons on YouTube every day where you can do some writing. Now that's an extra task. It's an hour's lesson, but if you want to get some extra writing done, then please look at the video below. This video is all about poetry, okay? Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at something called alliteration. I'm not going to talk about what that is right now, but in order to prepare for our next lesson, I wanted to talk a little bit about poetry. Today's lesson is all about our favourite poems. Now, I have lots of poems that I love. I love the work of Robert Frost. I like Edgar Allan Poe. In fact, some poems, because of repetition, which we'll be looking at, some poems actually you can memorize. So I've memorized parts of Edgar Allan Poe, like The Raven, for example, which goes, uh, once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over a many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, whilst I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. So that's embedded in my memory because it has a rhythm, it has a flow to it. The Jabberwocky, for example, is stuck in my head. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gear and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borrel groves, and the moan raced out grave. Um, so yeah, those are a couple of my favourite poems. And all poems have different features to them, but we're not going to do that today. Today is going to be all about your favourite poems. Now, if you don't have a favourite poem yet, don't worry. What you can do is after this video, before you complete the worksheet below, you can go onto Google, you can type in poetry for kids and look up some poetry, have a little read, and see if you can find a poem that you really like. It can be a poem that makes you happy. It could be a poem that makes you laugh. It could even be a sad poem. Any poem that you really enjoy. This is a good website to start with. Poetry for Kids. If you type in Poetry for Kids, you'll get Ken Nesbitt's website, which should look a little bit like this if I get it up. Uh, Poetry for Kids there, if you can see that. Oh, that's not come up very well. Poetry for Kids. And if you go up, it's got funny poems, it's got books, it's got poetry lessons, poetry games, poetry podcasts, a rhyming dictionary, fantastic. It's a really good resource for poetry, and it's got some funny poems on there. Let me have a quick look and see if we can read one. Funny poems, newest poems, overslept. Ah, here's one. My cat knows karate. My cat knows karate. My frog knows kung fu. My poodle knows judo. My turtle does too. They all became black belts by watching TV, some Chuck Norris movies and films with Bruce Lee. They liked learning lessons from Jean-Claude Van Damme and acting like action film star Jackie Chan. They practiced their punches, their blocks, and their kicks until they were masters of martial art tricks. You'd think they'd be good now at guarding our house, but yesterday morning they ran from my mouse. My mouse is a crack up. I laughed at his prank. Do you think it's weird that my mouse drives a tank? So there, Ken Nesbitt is using poetry for humour. We're going to build our own poem uh, in the coming week. But for now, as I said, I'd like you to find some poems, read some poems, or look at some poems that you've got at home. Julia Donaldson books, for example, like The Gruffalo. If you notice, they rhyme. They're a poem. Michael Rosen, we're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one. What a beautiful day. I'm not scared. Michael Rosen writes lots of poetry and he has lots of videos on YouTube. So if you look up Michael Rosen on YouTube, you could watch and listen to a few poems. You don't have to necessarily read. You could see if there's any good poetry on YouTube as well, like Michael Rosen. Once you have found a poem that you really, really love, or if you already have a poem that you really, really love, what I want you to do is I want you to go into the document below, the My Favorite Poem worksheet, and I would like you to fill it out and tell me all about the poem that you like, okay? Once you've done that, I want you to send it to y2@anglesey.beham.school.uk, which I will put below the document. Have fun reading poetry, and I can't wait to see what some of your favourites are. As I say, tomorrow's lesson will be all around alliteration, and I've actually borrowed the way that we're going to do this from Mr. Jordan. So there's the doorbell. It means I've got to go, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.